Sidearms are one of the most important weapons in your loadout. If you choose the wrong one, it could fail you when you need it most. It's a backup to your main weapon for sure, but some on the battlefield possess huge power and can be almost as good as your primary. Today, on episode 12 of Through the Ages, we're looking at the Revolvers of the Battlefield franchise. As always with Through the Ages, we'll be focusing on Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 today, and we've got a great variety of revolvers to look at. Starting with Bad Company 2 though, we come to the MP412 Rex, which is the only revolver included in this game. It's always been a favourite of mine in the franchise. It's got a really satisfying, blocky, weighty design to it, and the sound, as we know in Bad Company 2, is amazing, and it really is a good one for the Rex. It's unlocked at level 12 in the multiplayer and is actually one of the most powerful weapons in the entire game. Its max damage of 40 is only beaten out by bolt action rifles, and that means it's a deadly weapon when used correctly. That max damage drops off to a minimum of 33.4, so it still hits extremely hard at long ranges as well, making it a perfect precision weapon next to something like an assault rifle or a PDW. Those weapons have a much lower damage threshold but will still inflict a lot of damage due to their high rate of fire. The Rex is almost a perfect weapon for finishing off an enemy if you fired your last shot or you don't want to rely on what little ammo you have left in your primary. Where it struggles though is basically everywhere else besides the damage. Providing you kill your target, you should have plenty of time to reload the Rex, but if you get caught short, the reload time will leave you wanting more. It takes a sluggish 4.1 seconds to fully complete. Holding only 6 rounds in the revolver as well is a feature that's holding it back, and the severe kick of recoil that you get after each shot. The Rex is built to fire slowly, be aimed well, and land the shots that you fire. Don't take it out of its comfort zone and go running in close quarters with it though, you won't be having a good time. Battlefield 3 now, and the Rex here is joined by the 44 Magnum, and its scope variant as well. The standard model was unlocked at level 26 in multiplayer, and was the most powerful sidearm available in the game, but it definitely wasn't the most versatile. The 44 Magnum is built for sheer power, needing only to land 2 shots to the body to take down your enemy out to 20 meters, and it has the cool ability to set off explosives when you hit them. With that extreme power though comes many downsides. The rate of fire is extremely slow at just 180 rounds a minute, and the recoil between each shot can knock off your aim quite severely if you are spamming the trigger. As with the Rex in Bad Company 2, the Magnum here becomes the precision revolver. Its bullets travel at 460 meters a second, which is extremely fast considering it is a sidearm, meaning if you were trying to take out enemies at longer ranges, you stood a good chance at not having to lead your targets too much. The Magnum did have one other variant beyond the scoped one, a developer-only silence Magnum with a laser sight. This elusive weapon was never given out to players, but there are a few clips of it lurking around the internet. Going back to the Rex just before we move on, here in Battlefield 3 it was one of those weapons unlocked by playing the co-op section of the game. It was the first weapon that you unlocked there, and you needed to amass a 5,000 co-op score to get your hands on it. With the max damage moving from 40 in Bad Company 2 to 50 here in Battlefield 3, and a slight increase in the rate of fire as well, it made the Rex the more mobile of the revolvers that are on offer, and with that 50 max damage, those one-shot headshots at close quarters were a little bit easier to land. Its drop-off is quite severe though, down to just 28 damage, meaning some well-placed long-range shots will be needed to take down a target off in the distance. Of the two, again, I'll be siding with the Rex here in Battlefield 3. It suits my more mobile playstyle, mainly infantry focused, and having a powerful revolver with a bit of speed is just perfect for me. And now it's time to visit Battlefield 4, where the game changed quite a lot actually. No longer were the Rex and the Magnum the only revolvers in the game, they were joined by the SW40 and the Unica 6 when the DLCs released, with the SW40 coming with Naval Strike and the Unica coming with Dragon's Teeth. The easiest way to separate these revolvers in Battlefield 4 is to look at their ammunition type. The 44 Magnum of course fires the 44 Magnum round, whereas the rest fire the 357 Magnum round. This made no difference to any of the max damages, all coming in at 56 for the 4 revolvers, but it made a difference to the minimum, where the Magnum beats out the rest with 37.5 and the others having to deal with just 28. All of the revolvers themselves are extremely powerful, but as with Battlefield 3, the 44 Magnum takes the crown as Precision King with that more powerful round and lower rate of fire overall. But perhaps the most badass of the group is the Unica 6, and that's because it comes with a hidden Easter egg, the Gentleman's Reload animation. A 1 in 10,000 reload animation that's randomly triggered, made for a cool finish if you manage to kill your enemy. My personal favourite in Battlefield 4 though was the SW40, looking much smaller in the hand than the rest and had the fastest rate of fire as well. Where the SW40 didn't do so well though was when it came to sustained damage. If you didn't let the weapon reset to the centre of the screen after each shot, you'd accumulate spread and recoil. And because this was the least accurate of all of the revolvers in the game, it wasn't very effective at longer ranges. The best way to handle it was up close and personal with your enemy, where you can make the most of its high damage. Having the 4 revolvers in Battlefield 4 you might think would dilute the importance of each of them individually, but not so here. Because the Unica and the SW40 came out as DLC, the use of those weapons was always much less than the MP412, the Rex, or the Magnum. But I will say this, I feel like the revolvers get less action here in Battlefield 4 than they did in previous games. I'm not really sure why though, they can be some of the most effective weapons on the battlefield when they're used correctly. For me, the revolvers were at their best in Battlefield 3. The battle between just 2 of them, both being the most powerful sidearms in the game, meant they were picked by 2 different types of people. If they picked the Magnum, they'd be confident with their sidearm and would take their time to land the shot, and if they went with the Rex, they'd spam it a little bit more. Thank you very much for watching today. Leave your suggestions below in the comments for what weapon family or group you want to see on the next episode of Through the Ages. And while you're down there, drop me a like as well. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.